busting my balls, Billy, okay?
I can already tell that I don't like you.
Fuck you, bust on my balls.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
It might be your first ball job.
Yeah, of course.
How long did it take for the guy to come?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bustin' Balls. I'm your host, Eric Pennell. Welcome, guys. Thank you for listening. I do appreciate everybody that's been listening to the podcast lately. It's opening weekend for the NFL, and like I said on the last podcast, the numbers are down. I'm not trying to start on, pooping on the NFL, but the numbers were down 13% on Thursday night's game is what I read. I don't know. Somebody can fact check this and say this guy's fake news. Look, I'm going to read one, maybe two articles, and then I'm out, okay? I'm not a journalist for the New York Times, Washington Post. That's all, I get in, I get out. But what I read, it was down 13% on the opener of the Super Bowl champions that everybody loves. And unless you're against that team, but and it's down still 13%. The other team didn't come out during the national anthem, the Texans, and when they came out, and also people were booing. And then again, Ryan, what's his name for ESPN, the dude that was the D-back for I can't think, was it Ryan Anderson? I can't remember what his last name is right now. He was bitching and moaning on ESPN saying, if they would have stood up for breast cancer, if they'd just done this and they'd done that, but it's against black people, they boo about it. No, they ain't booing that. They're booing that you ain't standing for the, for the, you're staying in the locker room for the national anthem, bud, for the country that you're playing on. You're playing in this country, but no, they attach it to that. And if you don't get behind some Marxist organization, you're a racist for that. It's always racist. Everything's always a racist. You're always a racist. That's how it is. People pay. You know how much money it is to go to a NFL game? Do you know how much money it is to go to an NFL game? I mean, by the time you pay for parking or you take an Uber to an NFL game, by the time you pregame it, by the time you buy a jersey already maybe that was on last year's number the year before, but dude, the cheapest jersey you're going to buy is $100. And most likely the jersey you're buying, unless it's like Tom Brady or Julian Edelman or, some other white quarterback, maybe that you got their jersey on, most likely it's an African-American black guy freaking jersey that you're wearing. But for somehow, by buying $100 jersey, couple $100 jersey, yeah, that's what a racist would do. That makes a ton of sense. And then by the time you come to the game and have you ever tried buying an NFL ticket? The cheapest ones in most towns are no less than $130 after you do fees. Seriously. I mean, you're not buying. So what racist would ever, wear a jersey if they were a true racist of an African-American or a black guy on his back? And what racist would spend all that money to go watch black people play? What racist would spend $130 at the least to go watch black people play if they were racist? And then the NFL has the nerve to put stop racism in the end zone. Like, that's going to do it, Like, first of all, there's racists out there. Duh. I mean, I don't know what percentage. It's probably a very small percentage. But they put it in the end zone, and they're preaching to the choir. Everybody going there is like, yeah, we'll stop racism. First of all, how do you stop racism? I don't know. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? I mean, is that what it is? I mean, how do you do that? I'd like to know, say how you stop racism. And then they come up with some bullshit fucking, whatever. It's ridiculous. Stop racism. How about stop violence? I see the Chicago Bear guy was kneeling on the stop racism logo in Detroit. He's kneeling on it for a photo op. How about stop violence? Because here in Chicago, we have 555 people murdered this year in Chicago. We've had probably 35 people murdered this month. And the month's not even halfway done. And out of the 555 people murdered here in Chicago, about 406 of them were black. About 80% of people murdered in Chicago are black. I don't even like bringing it up like that because I see how it looks. But it's like, look, if you want to have a true racism conversation in America, we got to have the true conversation. 80% of the people in Chicago that are murdered are black. But you don't ever bring that up. I feel uncomfortable even bringing up the stats because I don't like playing this game of skin color against skin color and pointing finger against pointing finger because it's super ignorant. But if you're going to play that game, you gotta, it's like, look, I don't want to play the game, but if you want to have a conversation, let's have the conversation. They don't want to have that conversation. Nobody even brings up the numbers. Did you know 555 people are murdered here this year in Chicago as of today? Did you know 406 of them were black? nearly 80% of the people in Chicago that are murdered are black? Almost every year, almost 80% of the people that are killed here in Chicago are black. But no, people that live here, they always go, oh, it's just gangbangers. Like that makes it any better. Like those gangbanger people don't have freaking mothers and fathers and kids and freaking sisters. You know, like they're not citizens of the, you know, they always chalk it up. It's part of the game. Yeah, that sounds like a game, all right. Sounds like a death game, and it ain't cool, man. But nobody ever brings it up because they don't want to bring it up because you don't want to make anybody mad. You don't want to, you know, me even bringing this up, like you know, you're worried about, am I going to lose friends? Am I going to lose comic friends? Am I going to, you know, because as soon as you bring up anything like this, they instantly call you a racist. But yeah, NFL, why don't you put stop racism in the end zone? Because that's what our big problem is here in Chicago and America is racism. Yeah, it's not the 555 people murdered here in the city of Chicago. That's not one of them. Yeah. How about stop COVID? That's one of our biggest problems. How about we get back to work? How about we stop COVID and just take it on? I mean, come on. I mean, that's our biggest problem. You think racism's our biggest problem in America? Give me a break. That's ridiculous. And now they're going to build a freaking statue for George Floyd. That's going to be the first one that goes up in Minneapolis, and then there's going to be others in other town. You watch. There's going to be a George Floyd statue or a Jacob, what's his name, in Kenosha. You know, that's what it is. It's just, you're taking down, freaking Christopher Columbus statues and Thomas Jefferson statues, but we're going to put up George Floyd statues. That makes a ton of sense. A guy that did jail time for freaking doing gun invasions on pregnant women and, died with fentanyl in his mouth. Now, of course, I get it. You know what? I believe that the guy probably died from freaking a knee on his neck. I'm not that guy, you know? It does. I tell you what doesn't help. Throwing fentanyl in your body also, you know? But we're going to put statues of this guy? What a bunch of hypocrites. That's why I say these guys are hypocrites. The freaking Democrats, the lefts, the Antifas, the BLMs, they're all hypocrites because they'll back something like that. But then just a year or so ago, the Me Too, it's like anything with sexual assault, they want to come at you and tar you in feathers and freaking ruin your life. But with these guys, like this Jacob, whatever his name is, Jacob Blake, they'll they just turn their cheek to that. You know, because again, why do they turn their cheek? Because they don't want to. They don't want to look like a bad guy and point the finger at a black guy and say, "Hey, he had a freaking this." And again, I hate bringing this up because I see how it sounds, I hear how it sounds, I see how it is. But if you want to have a real conversation on racism in America, you want to have a race conversation, we have to talk about the whole conversation. We just can't do a quarter of the story and then that's it, where you hear, no, you just got to hear the quarter of the story where the guy got killed. It's like, well, okay, well, what happened? How did he get killed? And why were they there to kill him? Why did they kill him? They were there because of something else? Oh, they got called on by a woman? Oh, okay, I got that. Oh, they called him on because he was passing fake money. Oh, the people that he was trying to pass fake money called the cops on him. Oh, okay. But you don't want to have that whole story. You just want to have it that white people in America are bad. They've always been bad. And you don't want to have the whole story of like, well, nobody else has any part of this story. No. And then when you try to bring it up, it's like, shh, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. You guys wanted to bring it up. You're bringing up the conversation. NFL, having stop racism in the end zone. Stop racism. You're preaching to the choir. People are spending on average. I mean, when you go to an NFL game, what's the average person spend on an NFL game? I bet if you're going two people, like if you bring your kid, you bring your girl, you bring your brother, you bring your sister, your dad, two people going to NFL games, that's an average of probably $425 to $500 every time you go. You're telling me a racist is going to spend $500, $450 to $550 for a couple every time they go, like going out to see? That's what a racist would do? Get out of here, man. I don't believe it because it ain't true. All right. Sure, there's problems with the police. Sure, every job has problems. Are there bad? Of course. Do I have to say it? It's stupid that I have to. But we got big problems in this country, and if you really want to talk about it, let's talk about it. I'm on social media. Let me know. You know? But I bet most people on social media, I already see it. I've already seen it on the TikTok videos, how they always go, oh, what a racist. Oh, racist. Where's your white hood at? You're so stupid. Where's my white hood at? Yeah. I got people on TikTok saying black ladies saying, "Oh, it sounds like you've never talked to a black person in your life." Yeah, I've just lived in Chicago for 16 and a half years, and I've never talked to black people in my life. That makes sense. What a smart argument. Yeah, because you bring up there's been 555 people murdered in this town, and 406 of them are black. Yeah, I'm a racist because I'm telling facts. What a race. That's it now. And that's what it is. Now a racist is just somebody that talks shit to people. Like if you say anything to somebody, like they take it as you're talking shit. Like you say 406 people in this city, 80% of people that's murdered in Chicago almost every year are black. They take that as you're talking shit about them, which I'm not. It's a fact, okay? What is it now? Like if you bring up McDonald's cheeseburgers have so many calories in it, you're talking shit about them and you're just anti-McDonald's or something? No. It has that many. It's a fact. It has that many calories in it. I'm not bashing McDonald's cheeseburgers. That's how many calories it has in it. So when I bring up 406 people in Chicago this year have been black, and 80% of people that are murdered in Chicago are black, it's a fact. Okay, I ain't talking shit about it. But now you can't even say anything negative, like a fact, against anything. Otherwise, they just call you a racist, a xenophobe, any of that stuff. That's how they do it now. They don't want anybody to hear their facts. That's why they shut people down. That's why they ban people off the internet. That's why they ban people off platforms. They don't want you saying the facts because you're ruining their story of they're trying to tell you a quarter of the story. And then and some of their quarter of their story is clearly lies. You know, there's clearly lies even on the quarter of the story that people tell you, aka the mainstream media. And I'm talking about all the mainstream media. They all have an agenda. I don't have no agenda. I don't like getting jammed down my throat this bullshit of you gotta be with Black Lives Matter or you're a freaking racist. Listen, and then they do that thing where they go, "What? Black lives don't matter?" No, that's not what people are saying. Black people matter. Black Lives Matter, the organization, they're not accepting. They're not with it because they're a bunch of Marxist, lesbian, freaking commie. We hate America, and they got their own agenda. And it's connected up. And what a surprise that the Democratic Party freaking buddied right up with Black Lives Matter. And most people don't think, like what? You don't think that they're somehow connected somehow and they're not working together? Oh, that's just because the Democrats love people of color and all the others hate them. Yeah, okay, I gotcha. How stupid are you? Is that what we're doing now? We're doing that? Yes, black people matter. It sounds so stupid to say that it's important that black people matter. And it's important that a city like Chicago, we don't have freaking 406 black people being murdered by mid-September. They shouldn't have that. We have two neighborhoods in Chicago that have over 50 murders in it. We have one neighborhood that has over 42 murders in it. We have probably 4 neighborhoods that have over 22 murders in it. Our neighborhood shouldn't have this many murders in them. We have good people in all these neighborhoods, and it's not helping the good people in these neighborhoods to have this much murder in it and this much shooting in it. Okay? Because when you have that much shooting and murder in your neighborhoods, why wonder you call it a food desert? That's another word. It's a food desert over here. No shit. Nobody that is in their right mind wants to put their business over there because there's 50, there's 40, there's 20-something murders in that neighborhood. Nobody wants to put their business over there because guess what? Nobody's going to come over from that neighborhood. When you put a kick-ass business in a neighborhood, you have other people from other communities come into that neighborhood to that business and spend money at that business because they love that kick-ass business. They love the food. They love the product that they got there. But when you have that much violence in the neighborhood, you're not going to get businesses. AKA, you're not going to get jobs that are going over there. AKA, you're not going to have people over there buying houses and putting more back into the community and planting flowers and freaking, desiring to move into that neighborhood. So stop the killing. Stop the shooting. I know that sounds so easy. I don't know how to fix it. I'm a damn comedian podcaster, okay? I'm just saying that's part of the problem. You want to have the conversation. These are part of the conversations that nobody wants to have. And then they go right back to systemic. No, it's basically don't shoot in neighborhoods because people ain't going to come. All right, businesses are going to leave. And then don't rob, don't steal, don't shoot. Nobody's coming over there to those businesses. Now, it's what a surprise when those neighborhoods get gentrified. I like how it's always segregation. is negative. And then when like white people and like, they come to live in these neighborhoods, they call it, it's gentrified. Like that's something negative. It's like, yeah, because, sorry for the gentrification, because before these people that started investing money into this community, the community was having freaking 40 murders in it, had 30 murders in it. Sorry. It's always some guilt bullshit. It's like, enough already. You want to have the conversation? Let's have the conversation. It ain't going to sound pretty all the time. You can't just tell a quarter of the story and then you get away with it because people are sick of it. It's like, enough already. It's like, we're freaking adults. If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Give me a break. And like I've always said it. You got all these freaking white Gentiles marching for BLM in Chicago. But when you drive, they're marching for BLM and Black Lives Matter and inequality, and they're on people of color and BLM's side, all these white people that are all these liberals here in Chicago. And good for you. Hey, good for you. I got no problem with that. Look, if you want to side up with that, side up with it. But also, why don't you get your money up, bud? Because when you drive through all these neighborhoods in Chicago, all the African-American black neighborhoods, you don't see none of those white people living in those neighborhoods. Why not? I thought you loved BLM. I thought you loved Black Lives Matter. I thought you loved, these are like the people that you love and you're marching for injustice. Why aren't you living with them? Yeah, I got why. And they know. I've said it also on podcasts. Black people know why white people, they're phonies. Chicago's such a democratic city, and Democrats love people of color and they're always fighting for them. Well, why wouldn't you ask black people here in Chicago? Ask my buddies. Ask Devon Dickerson, the very funny comedian Devon Dickerson. Ask him why he says that, Chicago's a racist city. And if these Democrats were on the side of all these people of color, why do the people of color say Chicago's a very racist city? Why would they say that? I thought these guys were with you. I got you, Democrats. I got you, lefties, and I see you not living with them. I got it. And then people go, why ain't you living with it, Eric? Because I don't want to live in a goddamn neighborhood with 30 freaking murders in it, okay? That's why. I'll tell you straight up. I would do it. Are you kidding me? I love black people. I would do it, but I can't live in a neighborhood that has 30, 40, 50 murders in it. I ain't going to do it. I won't do it. It's too risky for me, bud. Anyways. So, yeah, the NFL's back. Fantasy football's back. Let's talk that for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here. Looks like for running backs, Josh Jacobs had 35 points, almost 36 points in a PPR league. That guy ripped it up this week. 25 carries, 93 yards, 3 touchdowns. What a killer, man. He had 6 targets, Josh Jacobs. 6 targets and 4 receptions for 46 yards. That is a good fantasy running back. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Last year was his rookie year, and he was a killer. That's such a good thing to see. Christian McCaffrey looks like he had 28 points with 96 yards, 23 carries, and 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions, 38 yards. That guy's a killer. I seen that Marlon Mack might have got hurt. For the running back for the Indianapolis Colts, and it looks like this Nyheim Hines guy had 27 points. So he only had 7 carries, 28 yards, and a touchdown, but the guy had 8 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown. So he's obviously the guy to throw to, too. So it's either him or Jonathan Taylor. Maybe Jonathan Taylor's going to be the run guy because he's a barrel, and then maybe Hines is going to be the guy that actually gets the receptions. It looks like Ezekiel Elliott had 25 points, 20 carries. Mozart looks like he did really well with 25 points and 15 carries and 4 receptions, 95 yards and a touchdown. Chris Carson, if he could stay healthy, had 25 points. Malcolm Brown had 24 points, which that's really interesting to see now that Todd Gurley isn't there. And Alvin Kamara had a couple touchdowns also for 23, almost 24 points. Dalvin Cook had a good game. Dave Johnson, which is really surprising. And the rookie Edward Hilaire, or whatever his name is now for the Chiefs. And Aaron Jones had a good game with 17 points. And Jonathan Taylor had almost 15 points for his first week. And it looks like Kendrick Drake had some. So, man, the running backs are eating this week. And Devontae Adams had 41 points. That's ridiculous, right? How do you get 41 points? I guess 14 receptions, 156 yards, and 2 touchdowns to do it. Calvin Ridley had 33 points. Adam Thielen, 31 points. DeAndre Hopkins had 29 points, which it looks like he's transferring on over there. Robbie Anderson for Carolina had 25 points. Julio Jones had 24 points. Crowder had 24 points. Off-brand dude. Sammy Watkins, they got clowned all last year, and they came on hot towards the end of the year. 21 points. I mean, so, dude, there's people that are scoring points this year, and there's players that are normal play. I mean, there's a couple off-brand dudes that you're like, wow, that dude's an off-brand dude. Russell Wilson ripped it up with 31 points. Aaron Rodgers almost had 31 points. Josh Allen had 28 points. Lamar Jackson had 27 points. Kyler Murray, which a lot of people called it that he's going to have a better year this year since he's not a rookie and he's had time to get under his, get that playbook under his legs. 26 points. Cam Newton, 25, almost 26 points. And Mitch Trubisky came out with 25 points, which don't hold your breath. We'll see. And for tight ends, I bet I don't see Gronk on here. Do you? I don't see him on here. Goddard, Dallas Goddard had the most points with 24 points. Looks like Mark Andrews, which is carried it over from last year, had 22 points. And Travis Kelce had 17 points. And again, your leagues might be different point system. I'm going off ESPN right now on scoring leaders. That's what I look at for targets, carries, and points. And so, of course, you could be listening to this and going, hey, dude, my guy had way more points. I get it, dude. I'm going off like a standard point system here, okay? And we're talking the Saints had 17 points. The defense, Washington Redskins, whatever, bunch of hypocrites, had 17 points. The Ravens had 12 points against the Browns, which the Browns suck again this year, it looks like. And the Patriots had 12 points. Chargers had 12 points. And the Bills had 10 points. And that's it, man. And let's look at the kickers real quick here. Looked like Mason Crosby had 12 points. Lambeau had 12 points. Sly had 12 points. And Carlson had 12 points. And Prater had 12 points. And that's it, man. It looks like, stay on the waiver wire, guys, this year. Please watch out for the injuries. And I would highly recommend just doing what I was doing here, going to a scoring leader, Fantasy Pros, ESPN scoring leaders, whatever site that you like, and look at the targets, look at the carries. Look at the receptions clearly and see the off-brand dudes that are eating a little bit. It looks like Russell Gage here had 20 points. The guy had 9 targets, 114 yards. That's like an off-brand name. I don't know who many people freaking drafted Gage. It looks like Lazard here for Green Bay. He freaking had, he had 18 points. Snead, Willie Snead, I guess. He had freaking 16 points. And again, these could be guys that are just eating well this week, okay? You never know with fantasy. That's how it is. This week it might be that guy, and then they just, somebody else comes off injury, and, there might be a big name that was injured this week, and somebody else was eaten, and then once they come back, that name goes away. Guys, listen, man. I went on a long rant. All I'm saying is, look, they talk like racism's like a large problem in our country. And yeah, of course, is racism always going to be there? Are you always going to have ignorant people in the world? Of course. I feel stupid as an adult man saying that. But we have bigger problems in this country and this world than racism. Again, do we defund the police on a large scale? I don't think that's the move. Do we adjust and maybe put in different things in place so we have less people getting shot by the police and less police brutality? Yeah. I guess if that brings up the conversation and we adjust to it and we get better as a society, it just doesn't look like that way to me right now. And I know it's got to heat up maybe for change, but just right here in Chicago, we've had 39 people shot this weekend and 9 fatalities. Okay, 39 people shot and 9 people murdered in a weekend. Okay, and it's September. It's mid-September. All right. And you see stuff like that, and then you hear other people bring up racism as our problem. You got to go locally. Okay. In the whole world, what's the world problem? Okay, we can narrow that down because you're talking about the United States and then the world, of course. But when you're talking locally in our towns, when you have 39 people shot and 39 people shot, and now those 9 of them are murdered, that's a big problem. Okay, that's a bigger problem because it's local. And again, do we have problems in society? Of course, but come on, man. You think racism is our biggest problem? Coronavirus right now is our biggest problem, and people not paying attention to the laws and respecting each other, and come on, man, we got big problems, but racism, all I'm saying, isn't the one. But if you want to have the conversation, we're going to have the whole conversation. You're not going to just talk about a quarter of the conversation. And again, this is just my side of it, and then that's other people's sides, the other quarter. There's other halves to this whole conversation because it is very complex. That other people would bring into it. This is just how I see it, from where I see it. But if you really want to have the conversation, we have to have the true conversation. You just can't have a quarter of the conversation, then say, go away. Don't say that part of the conversation because it's not true, okay? Bustin' Balls Podcast on Instagram, Eric Pennell Comedy on Instagram, Bustin' Balls Podcast on Twitter, Bustin' Balls Podcast on TikTok. Guys, please, if you like the podcast, please share it. If you don't like the podcast, I completely understand, okay? I'm not on here just talking comedy anymore. Life has changed, all right? We got COVID. I ain't doing any comedy in months now because of goddamn fucking... I don't even want to get into it, but it's changed a lot. I'm indoors now. I don't have other people on my podcast to talk it out. Hope everything's good with you guys. OW20 is my squirt, and Bustin' Balls Podcast. Please share it. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you.